How to read the new Iowa Core Science Standards, Science Module A, Part 1. Our learning target for this module is analyze an Iowa Core Science Standard using the supporting documents and resources provided by the Next Generation Science Standards site, or NGSS. College community started awareness and exploration around the new standards in 2013. The Next Generation Performance Expectations were officially adopted by our state during the 2015-2016 school year as our new Iowa Core Science Standards, and Phase 1 of implementation began. Throughout the first phase, the Science Council was able to explore and bring awareness to the rest of the staff through a brief PowerPoint module. Throughout the 2016-2017 school year, as a district, we worked on classroom transitions. All staff went through a 30-minute investigation where they were immersed in a three-dimensional lesson. Council members were asked to bring the new learning back to their classrooms by intentionally using the three dimensions and having students identify when and why they were using them. As a state, we are now starting to shift our past practice of just delivering content to now students using the three dimensions, which are the science and engineering practices, disciplinary core ideas, and cross-cutting concepts. Students will investigate like a scientist and design solutions like an engineer. This year, during the 2017-2018 school year, we will be working to better understand our science standards so that we can make instructional decisions and continue to give students opportunity to build their skills in using the science and engineering practices and cross-cutting concepts. Students will be using these skills to make sense of scientific phenomena, to make deeper connections, and solve relevant problems. The Iowa Core Science Standards were adopted from the Next Generation Science Standards. As a state, we have adopted the performance expectations as our standards, but it is important for educators to use all components of the NGSS in order to effectively implement the standards in their classrooms. Throughout this learning experience, you will dig deeper into how to locate these standards and how to read them. As a state, we adopted the standards by grade level in kindergarten through 8th grade. A grade band is used for the 9th through 12th grade standards. To get started, you will have to click on the second link under Resources in this module's assignment. Once you locate the Iowa Core Science Standards document, choose one grade level standard that you are teaching now or that will be coming up. This standard will be used throughout this learning experience. You'll want to write down the coding in front of your standard so you can locate it on the Next Generation Science Standards site later on in this module. Before starting this section, you will want to pause the screencast and print off resource number 3 located in this assignment in Google Classroom. We will be referencing it throughout this portion of the screencast, and it will probably be helpful to print the document off so you can follow it step by step as you maneuver your way between the Iowa Core Science Standard document and the Next Generation Science Standards site. You will want to follow the steps in this handout to locate the details around your performance expectation. The next portion of the screencast will talk you through those steps before you do it yourself. So step 1, go to www.nextgenscience.org. Step 2, you will then hover over the Search the Standards tab. Step 3, in the drop-down menu you will see 3 options. You will want to click on Standards by DCI. Step 4, you will see 3 grade level bands, elementary, middle school, and high school. Click on your grade level band. Refer back to the coding on your standard that you identified at the beginning of the screencast. Examples of what the coding looks like and where it is located can be found on the how-to document. Step 6, click on the standard code. If you are elementary, that would be grades K through 5. And the grade levels are by, the standards are by grade level. If you are 6 through 8, you would be under the middle school band. And if you are 9 through 12, you would be under the high school band. Middle school and high school are not separated by grades, they are separated by domains. Physical science, life science, earth and space science, and lastly, engineering, technology, and applications of science. Click on your standard and the performance expectation detailed statement will appear. Now, I would like you to take a few minutes to follow the steps on the How to Locate Your Performance Expectations document to locate the standard you have selected from the Iowa Core document at the beginning of this module. After locating the performance expectation arrangement shown on this slide or on the last page of the how-to document, you will want to print this off so you can use it for the next task, and you will want to leave this tab open for another task at the end of this module. As you watch the How to Read the Standards video, please use your performance expectation arrangement that you just printed off so you can follow along with the video to learn more about your standard.
When reading the Next Generation Science Standards, it is important to understand how they are structured. This video will walk you through the different parts of the standards. The Next Generation Science Standards are based on 3 dimensions: the science and engineering practices, which describe behaviors scientists and engineers engage in; the disciplinary core ideas, which describe the core ideas in the science disciplines; and the cross-cutting concepts, which describe concepts linking the different domains of science. You may hear the science and engineering practices referred to as practices, and the disciplinary core ideas referred to as DCIs. The standards have been developed as student performance expectations, which are statements of what students should know and be able to do by the end of instruction. Each performance expectation integrates the 3 dimensions and consists of a practice, a disciplinary core idea, and a cross-cutting concept. Let us look at an example of a performance expectation. In MSPS 4.2, the practice is underlined in blue, the disciplinary core idea is underlined in orange, and the cross-cutting concept is underlined in green. Together, these 3 dimensions in the standard describe what all students must do by the end of instruction to show proficiency. Now that we know how performance expectations are constructed, let us look at how they are organized and named. All of the performance expectations are organized into a grade level or a grade band. From kindergarten to grade 5, the performance expectations are organized by grade level, and each grade has a set of standards students should be proficient in by the end of the school year. For grades 6 through 12, the performance expectations are organized by grade band. There is a set of standards for middle school and a set for high school. Along with being placed into a grade level or grade band, each performance expectation is also organized into one of the 4 domains: physical science, life science, earth and space science, and engineering, technology, and applications of science. Each domain is divided into its primary foundational concepts, which are known as the disciplinary core ideas. The expected student knowledge stated in the performance expectations is organized along these specific core ideas. Here, you can see all of the core ideas in the 4 domains. Now that we know more about the organization, let us look back at the example performance expectation to see how it is labeled. The letters at the beginning of each code designate the grade level or grade band that the performance expectation fits into. For example, this code has the letters MS for middle school. In high school, these letters are HS, and in grades K through 5, the code lists the specific grade level. The next group of letters designate the scientific domain the performance expectation falls into. Since these performance expectations are for physical science, the letters PS are included in the code. The next number in the code designates which disciplinary core idea the performance expectation falls under. Here, PS4 means that this performance expectation is for physical science and is related to the disciplinary core idea PS4. The last number differentiates the performance expectations that fall under the same disciplinary core idea. There are 3 middle school performance expectations that fall under the core idea PS4, and since this has a 2 at the end, it is the second performance expectation in PS4. Let's look at an arrangement of performance expectations. The title of each arrangement of performance expectations can be found at the top of the document. The title of this arrangement is MS-PS4 Waves and Their Applications in Technologies for Information Transfer. The codes for the arrangements are formatted the same as the codes for performance expectations. Here, MS-PS4 indicates that the following performance expectations are the middle school standards that belong in the fourth core idea of the physical science domain. Many of the performance expectations have associated clarification statements. These clarification statements are designed to provide examples or additional clarifications to the performance expectation. In addition, many of the performance expectations have associated assessment boundaries. These boundaries clarify limits to large-scale assessment, not to classroom instruction. Below the performance expectations are 3 colored boxes that contain the foundational language for the standards. These foundation boxes are based on the National Research Council's document called A Framework for K-12 Science Education. The language from these boxes was used to compose the performance expectations. The blue box lists all of the practices that are part of the performance expectations above. This language gives additional clarification for each performance expectation. Each bullet point has a code in parentheses, and this indicates which performance expectation the practice is associated with. The orange box contains the same information for the disciplinary core ideas, and the green box for cross-cutting concepts. Beneath the foundation boxes are connection boxes. These show which other standards have connecting ideas within the science standards at the same grade level, within the science standards at other grade levels, and within the Common Core mathematics and English language arts and literacy standards. For more information about the standards, please visit our website at nextgenscience.org.
Now that we know how to find